Hello, in this video we're going to discuss advice to law enforcement agencies, signs of telepathic harassment part 3. So in this we're going to cover a massacre and how it can happen through telepathic harassment. So firstly, in the United States and the US Navy, a man complained of voices in his head and shot and killed everyone that he worked with. This was after he had been fired from his job. There are other examples of postal workers who got disgruntled, returned to where they worked, and shot and killed everyone. In the case of voices in a person's head, they come from somewhere. They do not come from nowhere. They come from somewhere. So in the case of telepathy, it is telepathy. In the case of schizophrenia, it is through a handler. So whoever is with that person is the voice in the person's head. That's how that works. There are other ways to accomplish this, and that would include a speaker inside a person's ear. It can also accomplish the same thing, but it is still the same as a handler. It is just a handler using an earpiece. So this type of harassment may have been used for other crimes. The victim does not know that they're in the wrong. Okay, so they can control the person's emotions and make them full of rage and hate, and they can reward them telepathically if they wanted to. When they shot someone, they might feel good about it, like they'd accomplished something. That's another capability, even if they were shooting a child. So that's the dangers of telepathic harassment. Telepathic control can be full entropy, where the entire brain is controlled 100% by the telepath controlling the symbiote. So, we mentioned before about entropy, where the telepath gets raped and tortured and the symbiote experiences all of it 100%. Now, there's another end of the scale for entropy, where there's full control of the symbiote by the telepath, and the symbiote cannot do anything about it. They'll just do exactly what the telepath makes them do. And they can do all sorts of hideous things, believe you me. For experiments, they can force people to have sex with their own families and rape them and torture them and kill them. And there's nothing that the symbiote can do about it. So it gives you a clue as to the hideous experiments that happen in Wellington, and that is still happening on this day. Video overlays are possible, where the environment can be altered telepathically, and the symbiote tricked into seeing things that are not there. So with telepathy, they can go in there with a video camera and record in high definition the environment and have an actor stand there and say something. Then when the symbiote goes to that location, they can play back telepathically the video through the telepath, and the symbiote can see this and believe that they just had a conversation with a person, but that person is not there. They can also make them believe that there's something else in the environment, like a dog, but the dog is not there. So, sequence that is used for a massacre. Firstly, the symbiote is coerced, and this can involve family members being held in captivity and them showing videos of them suffering. Bullying. So bullying can happen in the workplace, and it can be part of the sequence, and it would involve a Wiccan or a witch in that environment saying something offensive to the symbiote. Telepathically, when the symbiote is at home, they receive more bullying and a denied sleep, while at the same time the telepaths continue to push buttons on them to make them suffer sleep deprivation, headaches, sickness and vomiting. They can also make them vomit in the workplace. So we're using a person's workplace as an example here. The script. So the script follows a sequence and involves all the handlers and other witches and Wiccans from covens and Freemasons, also parties to this crime. It can involve number plates with words on them that are part of the script. The telepath can make the symbiote look at number plates, even at night with vehicles coming towards them. They can also trick the person into believing that they're receiving secret messages from a number plate, but they're in fact not. It is just part of the script. The script follows a sequence which leads to the execution of the massacre. So in the case of the disgruntled worker, he leaves the job because he's unhappy, and the whole time witches and Wiccans have been using telepathy and bullying him. Then he might have been forced out of his job, in that case, in the one in the United States, and then they convinced him to go back there and carry out the massacre. Right? So that's how it can be used in that way, and that's one sign the guy complained that he had voices in his head. Other examples that they might use as targets are people and places that are quite important to other people around them, like airline pilots, train drivers, and people who operate equipment like machinery. So that's just another sign of telepathic harassment and how it can be used, or how it has been used, to commit crime. I'm the Archangel Daniel, and I'm from heaven.